3, 2, 1.
Welcome. Welcome back to Fuck It Mask Off. And God, are we happy to be here again. We had a riveting episode, last episode.
Awesome experience.
Awesome experience. Harry Hudson, we love you.
Best fucking guy
ever. We love you so much. And we're going to run a marathon now. Now we're marathon runners for you.
Because he talked us into it. And
didn't talk us into it at all. He said, hey, I'm going to run a marathon.
And you're coming.
Come run a marathon with me. And that was it.
So that's what we're doing now.
And we're thrilled about it. Hang on. I'm joking. Sorry about that. I swallowed my own spit.
Your eyes are all glassed over.
Yeah, I was trying really hard to suck it back down. It had to come out. You're my witness. That's okay.
Sorry, everybody.
Anyways, we're here. We're back. We're still in Nashville.
At the same place because these people actually like us here.
Not banned this time. Can't get rid of us that quick.
Because these values align perfectly.
And we're fucking happy to be here, man. It feels good to be home.
Feels good to be home because we were gone. We're on the road this weekend.
We're on the road we're on a little...
The next month.
Yeah, the girls are back on tour.
Yeah.
Well, we were recently in Michigan. Went home to Michigan for Thanksgiving.
Freaking out. The timeline's all fucked up in my head. Yeah, that's what it was. Because this is after Thanksgiving. Or is it before Thanksgiving?
Okay,
when is Thanksgiving?
I'm going to be blunt with you guys. It's the same day.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we did. Okay, forget it. Same day, outfit change. It's 2 days in one. I can't lie to you. I don't know what week it is right now.
I don't know what day it is right now.
But we're still here. And that leads us into our next segment.
What we did this past weekend.
So I didn't know we were moving on, to be honest with you.
Are you planning on disclosing where we actually were?
Yeah, that's fine. We were in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
Were we supposed to?
Huh? No, I just didn't know because...
For my bit?
And for my bit, too.
Oh.
But mainly your bit, because my bit is still up in the air.
I don't have a bit. Wait. I can't I'm not talking about my bit. Your bit.
No. That's not what I meant.
Second bit.
At the bar. The whole bar bit.
Okay. No, I'll disclose that bit. Oh, that bit. I'll disclose that bit. I'm so sorry.
I didn't want to say it until
No, it's fine. We're going to start with yours though. So we were in Austin this past weekend, and we had the best time and then not so much the best time. But we're going to start with Austin because Austin was great.
Great
Austin
city. It's
treated
a shitload
me
of fun.
So well.
Really, really well.
Really well. Wish I could tell you, but I can't. So we're going to talk about Gina instead.
Basically.
We're going to make Gina exploit her escapades.
God, okay.
Because I cannot.
Yeah, that's funny because we had talked earlier and I wasn't going to even talk about it. And now I have to because I'm put on the spot. I'm not going to.
We're putting everything on the table.
On the T-blade. So we went to Austin for work, basically. No, we flew into Austin because we were going to College Station for something work related.
College Station, where I had some sort of appearance thing, is 2 hours from Austin. And then Gina had a friend in Austin. And so we're like, let's spend 2 days there because why not?
Yeah. So, and also...
When I say friend, I mean 2 friends.
We knew that we were going to Austin for a month, probably, maybe a couple weeks. And I have a friend that lives there and I'm like, we'll hang out. It's been this whole thing and we've been off and on for a long time. Not off and on, but we chat a lot.
Chatting off and on.
From time to time. Oh, if you guys know, oh no, I'm not going to bring it up because then it's going to ID him and I don't want to ID him in this. I was going to talk about the video. The cup video.
Oh.
That's a full ID of who it is.
It's a side profile. They're not going to know.
Okay, well, there's a video on Brianna's TikTok, and it's me throwing a cup at some guy from across the bar, and it smacks his own drink out of his hand and goes, and you see him look over at me. Whatever. Well, so I saw him recently in Nashville, and then now we're we're going to Austin. We should hang out, whatever. So this was a month ago, and then something else happened that was in between when we were actually going and when I had planned to see this kid. And we met these other people, and we call them Tattoo Face
And we met them here in Nashville, and they just happened to live in Austin also.
Yeah.
And we're like, holy shit, we're going there in like 2 weeks.
So like, yeah, we'll see you guys. Like, it'd be so cool. So then now I'm like, well, fuck, what am I going to do? Like, juggling 2 dicks at once, like
for lack of a better
term, right? So I sorted it all out and it worked out the way it's supposed to. That's one thing I will say. I'm not going to get into the gory details of things, but sometimes you have a gut feeling and you follow the gut feeling. No, I didn't follow the gut feeling.
No, you don't follow the gut feeling.
I had a gut feeling and I knew what I needed to do. But I was like, okay, well, I don't want to be a dick, so like I'm going to try and do the right thing. And the right thing and the gut thing weren't the same thing.
It's because you were focusing on how somebody else was going to feel and not how you were actually going to feel at the end of all of it. And then the universe came through and said, don't matter because I'm in charge anyways, and put her where she needed to be. And it worked out somehow.
Yeah, it all worked out.
It was beautiful.
And there were no paths crossed.
Until now, if you're watching. We love both of you.
Yeah. No, there's no way. They wouldn't. Would you? If you're here, I'm sorry.
If you're here, you're loyal. And that's all we could ask. If you're here,
this was all a lie. And I love you.
Anyways.
And only you.
Anyways, then we took an Uber. We took a 2-hour Uber to College Station. He didn't speak a lick of English either. We just got in his car and like hoped for the best. And he started going the wrong way the whole time. Turned the maps off and just started, and we're like, oh, here we go. Gina passed out. I'm got my headphones in. I'm being all nostalgic out the window. Cows everywhere. It was beautiful. We made it there. And I had this like appearance at this place. And so we're like planning for that night. And then these 2 boys who will also remain nameless, but I love them too. Yeah. Love them to death. Met them through TikTok, whatever. Never met them in my life. And he's like, hey, they lived in Houston. They're like, hey, we're going to drive to College Station to come see you. And we're like, all right, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, good luck.
So we meet them out at the bar. I go to my parents' thing. It was kind of whack, man.
It was a bust, okay?
And it's not like they couldn't have assumed that like it would be a really, really strange crowd and it would just be me and Gina in the booth. And then like our 2 friends that had met us joined us, and like thank God they did because they made it like a riot. But then it just ended up being like 8 people, like 8 very, very strange individuals.
I'm sorry, it wasn't a hot crowd. Like, I'm just going to call it what it is. I'm going to call a spade a spade. It was not a hot crowd. And also, it was a very young crowd. I heard so many people outside the bar talking about if they were going to get in or not with their fake ID. And we're 28. So, like, that already painted
I can't even think about it, dude. It's really, like, fucking me up. And I've tried forgetting about it heavily. But picture, so that what she just described, and then those people asking me to spit in their mouths.
So they're all lining up,
and I'm.
But it was not a busy bar, so like.
It wasn't. If it would have been jam packed and like I was hammered, and one thing leads to another, and it's like spit in my mouth, whatever, and it's like someone super hot, like that would probably look cool, but it's a grown man with a button up and a comb over on both knees.
On both of his knees.
Looking up at me like I'm
patiently waiting his turn. I have the video. It's so funny.
And it was so like uncomfortable. And maybe could have been like, no. But when you have like a videographer with a ring light
in your
videotaping you, and everyone's like, do it. And it's like, I'm not going to be a pussy, but also like, you're freaking me out. And I literally looked at my friend and I'm like, I don't want to do this again. And
I was like, you must.
My mouth was on fire. That's not my gig. That was his gig. It's not my gig. I don't do the spitting. I got spat on. That was fine. I was the prop.
It wasn't actual spit. I think we didn't make that clear yet. You were.
It was tequila. I'm not just spitting in mouths. I'm dumping reposado in my mouth and then spitting that. And I don't, I can't really see anything. And so I'm just kind of like it's just falling out of my mouth. And then that one girl was like, give me a kiss. And I'm like, on the mouth?
And this girl had come up to you like 3 separate times for like different gestures
you had
from
enough?
you. Yeah, she wouldn't stop. And then she wanted a kiss on the mouth. And it just.
I don't know, man. It was just a lot. And I don't want to do that again. So we're just
we're pretending it never happened.
We're gonna pick our battles a little more thoroughly this next time around. We had no clue what it could have turned out to be.
Yeah,
but it ended up being really beautiful. And the point is, the boys that came and saw us, like we just made really, really great friends.
Lifelong friends again.
And we made them stay with us through the whole next day.
So the next day our flight wasn't until like 6 o'clock at night, but we had to check out by 3. So we had the entire day with no car, nowhere to go, and nothing to do. And we made them stay the whole time. Like they took us axe throwing and like took us to breakfast, and it was a whole thing.
That's the thing about us is like we just make lifelong friends. Like even like Harry, like by
the end of it, we will be saying I love you every single time.
Yeah. When we're leaving each other, it's an I love you.
And it happened with Harry and it happened with these kids. Like it
happens because we just we'll love you to death. Like, you know, you're not going to want it. And we're
we force it, but then after they just succumb. Mm-hmm. And that's how you make friends.
That is how you make friends.
Force.
You stay true to you. And a lesson for the girls, we want to say this. When you're just like we're fucking weird, man. Mm-hmm. We are like annoying, but like funny, but really, really weird. And
basically just really ourselves.
Yeah. It doesn't matter who we're around. Like we've been around crazy fucking people, and we're just like aggressively ourselves, and they love it. So don't try and be like a girl, you know, maybe you are a girl, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
like don't try and be something because you think a boy like only likes girls that are a certain way. They love it when you're just fucking raw.
It's not gonna steer them away.
No. We were talking about having the meat sweats the entire day. The whole day we were with them.
The entire time. That's our favorite little segue. Brittany Broski clip. When she's talking about the guy farting on the plane, she goes, "I'm not kidding. The entire time." the way that she fucking
she's
moves,
a national treasure.
She is. Everything she does. You're not watching, and you never will. But we love you so much.
Yeah, I wish you would.
I wish you fucking would. Yeah. Point being, be yourself. People will love you. And we had a great time. It was a great trip.
Yeah.
And we came back home. Thank God we were ready to be home.
It was the longest 3 days of my life, and I don't even know how.
It was a 2-day hangover.
Yeah, it was.
We weren't okay yesterday.
Even yesterday, I had a headache all day.
Still a little bit
I
queasy.
convinced everyone around me I had a fever.
She goes, "I think I have a fever." It was cold.
But no, dude, it was like when your head was all hot. I told like our management I had a fever.
She had just gotten out of the shower. Fresh out of a hot shower.
Also, the heat was on in the house too.
And then this morning she goes, "Oh, my fever broke, so we're good." I'm like, "You didn't fucking have one, bro."
Ryan, after our phone call yesterday, he's like, you know, make sure you drink some emergency and, you know,
take some airborne.
Yeah, rest up.
I was like, you guys, she's not sick.
Okay.
She's fine.
I don't know. I had this like, what's a hypochondriac thing? Where you like, something's wrong with you all the time.
If she sees like a freckle, she'll be like, "That's a spot." No, it's just a freckle. Yeah. We bathe in the sun.
Everything is something to me.
Yeah.
And also everything is nothing.
You said that last time.
No, I didn't.
The time before that. Mm-mm. Yeah, we just edited the clip on the. We just fucking edited it, dude.
I like to contradict myself so that way nothing is ever concrete.
What's the next point? Can we move on?
Oh yeah, we wanted to talk a little bit about where we came from, because I feel like we know that we grew up together. We told you guys that, but like the root of it, we want to take it all the way back. Childhood shit.
Which for me is a little bit touchy, but I'm gonna let you in.
Yeah, mine's
the fun. It's the point. It's the big picture of the whole
overriding point of it
is that Gina grew up like, you know, happy childhood. Parents are still together, just like a real, just like, you know,
wholesome.
And then it's me, dicey childhood, parents split since I was 2.
Mental
disorders, you know.
So it's
dad
like
on the bottle, whatever. And I'm this big ball of anger, like, and it's the two of us together. And when we were young, well, in high school, I had like black hair, all depressed, like all angry, and then she'd
always have her headphones in too, and like murking around the crowd, like the hallways or whatever.
And I'd show up to school, and she would be so thrilled to see me, like so happy. And it's funny because it's very clear to me that I had BPD back then.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because I was still a dick, like, and I would like I can feel the way that I felt, and it's so crazy.
And it's like one of those things where like I'm smiling and laughing, and it's like that's pissing you off
because I'm so miserable.
Yeah.
Hurt people.
Yeah.
We don't do it anymore. Kind of, we do. But I'm working on it. Anywho, childhood. So
you want me to start first, and then I think it'll be better if I start, and then you'll be like on the contrary.
Yeah. We'll do contrast here.
Yeah. So my parents got married at like 21 and 26, I think. And they bought a piece of land in Brighton, Michigan and built the house that they still live in now. Like I lived in the same house my whole life that they built with their hands. Like my grandpa helped like paint it. Like they did everything by themselves.
That's so sick.
Yeah. My parents are still together. Obviously they love each other. Like they balance each other out like crazy. Like my mom is like really tall. My dad's really short. Like my mom's like so like tough. And my dad's such a like, it's like a golden retriever, like Doberman partnership. Like exactly. And I ended up with like, I feel like the perfect amount of the both of them.
You did. Yeah.
I'm probably like 60-40, like 60 my dad, 40 my mom.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just like support everything I do. They love me unconditionally. Like I could do anything and they would be cheering me on. Like it just, I think I got yelled at once in my life and I don't even remember what I did. And then, one time in high school, I don't know if I was friends with you. I had to be friends with you at the time. This was like the only time I almost got in trouble, but like I lied my way out of it. And like my parents brought it up recently. They're like, you were lying, weren't you? And I was like, yep. But they found like someone else's backpack in my closet and it had a fifth in it. It was a fifth of raspberry Smirnoff. It was, remember Mackenzie? Mm-hmm. And I made up this whole elaborate lie that it was like her brother's and like he was going through a lot and I was trying to hide it because like we didn't want her parents to see it and it was this like whole thing, but it was really like ours from the night before or whatever. So that was like the only time I ever like maybe almost got in trouble. And that was about like, I was pretty fucking smooth sailing for me.
That's crazy. People feel like that's a beautiful childhood.
Yeah, no, it really was. Like even to this day, like I don't ever like butt heads with my parents. Like truly.
No, they're great fucking people. Your dad, he's the funniest fucking guy ever. Everything he says, and it's just it's how we are today. Like that's definitely where you got it from. It's everything's a joke and like nothing can be simple.
It's so animated. Like
so animated.
Like we're all, even my brother too, like everything we say, we got the rubber face. I call it the rubber face where like it's so twists. Like every time I say anything or every time I'm telling a story or like make a joke, but like that's like where I get it from. It just like and like dinner at my parents' house, like when it's the four of us, like me, my parents and my brother, like it is just constant banter and like no one ever shuts up. Like we're talking over each other all the time.
It's a riot,
and like
dude.
making fun of everybody.
I'm going home with her for Thanksgiving. I can't wait to be with the fam around the table.
It's a blast for sure. But so I was always like a happy kid. I don't know. I never really had like anything to be upset about, and like I'm grateful for that. Like I know a lot of people go through a lot of shit, and like I'm lucky that I didn't, you know.
I think that's why you were meant to be with me, because I needed that little lift
someone to hold you afloat.
Yeah, take me by the hair and just really point me around. I mean, it's not like that's the thing, is like you meet other people and you hear their stories and you just like realize like, you know, it wasn't like awesome, but it could be a bajillion times worse.
Right.
I just basically, my parents split when I was 2. So young, obviously I don't know shit. Just a little fucking baby. Mm-hmm. But
teeny tiny baby.
Yeah, I have like very like sporadic memories. My dad is like super country guy, in the woods, in the fields, 4-wheelers. Like I grew up just sitting on a 4-wheeler, riding everywhere you could fucking possibly go, hitting fucking jumps and shit, like snowmobiling. And I'm very grateful for, because my mom was kind of, she wasn't like not country, but she was, I would say that she was more suburban. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was suburban, because city's not the right word.
No.
And then my dad's just fucking
backwoods type shit.
Yeah, barrel of beer on the fucking bottle all day. Beer with breakfast, basically. You know, we're driving and he's drinking.
Yeah, like, we drove to Florida one year and he was drinking solo cup the whole time. Drinking Crown Royal the entire ride, and we're like 15 in the back. Like,
you need me to drive? When I was young, I would like, because I was split custody, obviously. So when we would like see him on the weekends or whatever, like we would drive home sometimes, like, you know, young as fuck. I don't know.
You're saying we as in you and your sister. Yeah. Like 11. I would sit on his lap as like a child and drive us home. Like, whatever, man. But I am, you know, God bless him if he's watching.
I love you so much. And he loved us as much as he has his own so much fucking trauma. His dad was I never met his dad. I've never met my grandpa. He kind of, hit the road, took on a different family, had a whole different life, left my dad and them behind. My grandma, she was off the fucking bandwagon too. Like he raised himself since he was like 12 years old. He's been working since he was 12. He had a very hard life, a lot of fucking trauma. So he didn't have a dad. He didn't know how to be a dad. So he loved us. That's what I'm grateful for. It's like, he wasn't always there. He might have stepped out for a couple years, came back.
Yeah, but when
even as like a child, he, would be at the bar. We'd be collecting beer cans, or we'd go have dinner at the neighbors. Like we just had to make do with what we had like around the yard and around the house. The freezer was just meat and Crown Royal. And then there was like, I remember.
That's a man's freezer.
That's a fucking man's freezer, yeah. But goddamn, he did love us so much. And it was when we were younger and when he kind of had to have that responsibility. I am so grateful because he would take us snowmobiling, do all these crazy things. Like that's where I got my like country roots from, which is so fucking dope. And then it was when we kind of started growing up. So, middle school and high school when, it wasn't so much responsibility. I think it was easier to like, not see us. And my mom got remarried when I was like, I don't know, 10. And we would like go up north and stuff. And I think he just had a lot within him, a lot of, maybe bitterness. Felt like he kind of got screwed over maybe. I don't fucking know. Whatever the case may be, he would just kind of take off.
He'd come in and out.
He'd come in and out, yeah. There was one point where it was like, I think like a year. It's just like, where are you? Where did you go?
I'm sorry.
And even now, it'll, months at a time, we won't talk. And
birthday thing.
Yeah, he thought my birthday was 2 months after it was. I don't know. I forgot his a couple times, to be honest with you.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
It's and I'm saying this because, if you have hard relationships with parents, I have a ton of resentment towards him, and I have a lot of now abandonment issues, and that's a big part of BPD. That's what I've never really explained to you guys, is like being abandoned, and then also going into high school. Was it sophomore year?
I think so.
I was 16, sophomore year, and I was living with my mom. I wasn't really talking to my dad at the time. My mom, I had a really weird relationship with my mom and my stepdad. It's amazing now, but back then for some reason it was just weird. My sister was doing a lot of partying and drugs and shit. She was getting kicked out, garbage bags every other weekend. And then I got kicked out for some reason.
I don't remember why.
We talked about it recently, me and my mom. And what I remember is I came to her and I was like, what, like bring her home. Like, okay, why is she not here? My mom was like, fuck you, get out too.
Yeah, you go too.
So I'm 16 and I have my little Geo Tracker and it's like winter and I'm like packing my shit in bags and I'm like, why am I getting kicked out right now? Like sobbing, and I get in my car. Like, where the fuck do I go? Like, and it's spring break and all my friends are gone.
Was I gone?
You were gone on a trip. Yeah, I remember when you came home, you jumped into my arms and we did like a koala bear hug. I remember that. So I'm really like sweet. Living out of my car for a couple weeks, and Josie Modrak, if you're watching, I love you. She let me sleep in her basement for like a couple nights. I think Becca let me sleep there a couple days. I was just like couch hopping, which was so weird. And I had just had garbage bags in my car. I'd go meet Chantel and we would like try and devise a plan. I ended up, I think, calling my dad and being like, hey, how you been?
Me again.
I'm also homeless, because he was also homeless too. We got evicted from the house that I essentially grew up in. I found like the note on the door. It was like, hey, you got to get out,
Were they renting it at the time?
No, he owned it, but he couldn't. He got in a car accident. I don't know. A bunch of shit happened. He just couldn't afford it anymore. So, we got evicted from there. And then he just, I think, was just on doing the couch hopping thing too for a while. Mm. So I'm like, hey. And so he had this shack. It was like a couple exits from where my mom lived. And it was this little tiny shack above an auto parts store, across from an Arby's, next to a McDonald's. Mm-hmm. And he's like, you can go here. And he was keeping some of his shit there, I think. So I go there and it's just a fucking mess. And I'm sitting in this little shack, like crying.
It's like a 1 bedroom and then a second bedroom, but the second bedroom was a closet with like this, the door that like
closet
goes
door.
like this. Do you know what I'm talking about?
It's called an accordion door.
But it's only one.
But it's only one accordion.
Yeah, whatever. It's a closet. So Brianna's bedroom was a closet in the shack. But we made do. We were at the shack a lot.
Well, and then my dad ended up living there with me, and it was kind of beautiful, and it was so cute. And he would pack me like in high school, he'd pack me lunches, and he'd like wrap it all in tinfoil. He didn't know like what to do.
My dad was a tinfoil guy too. My sandwiches.
Okay. Yeah. So, and it was really great for us because we had never really had that time together. I mean, we went years without really seeing each other. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh shit, I got a daughter again. And we got to like be together, and that was cool. And then I think Chantal ended up, we threw parties there, bro.
We threw a Halloween party at the shack.
Yeah.
And like maybe 20 people, like we invited a bunch of people from high school. So funny. Remember someone pissed in the bathroom?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was everywhere. That was fucked up. It was just, I don't know. It was crazy. But the time before I got kicked out, it was so, my like, Mom and Bob, like they just like wouldn't talk to me. I was so secluded in myself, and I would just be in my bedroom, like headphones in, like Chantal wasn't there, and I felt so alone, and it was just such a weird time. Yeah. And that's when I was in high school, just like super depressed, headphones. But then that kind of carried out. So then the abandonment, depression thing kind of carried out into just life, whatever. But my mom ended up, I think I spent like 6 months in the shack, and then my mom came back and was like, I'm so sorry, like I'll do anything, please come home. And I'm like, Dad, I'm getting kind of scared. We had to keep one of those rubber stoppers on the door.
Yeah.
And I would come home alone, and he wouldn't, nobody would be there, and it actually was pretty fucking scary. So I ended up going home, resolved everything was good there, found out some shit. That was before I found out about what. Whatever. Life's a roller coaster. You have to look at your parents and remember how much like what your parents have gone through. And they might not be the perfect parents. Mine certainly weren't. But like at the end of the day, I'm grateful that they do love me. And they, my dad does the best he can with what he was given. And you have to just take them for what they are. And it makes it a lot easier to, when I do see him, when I do hear from him, I just, instead of being like, oh, well, like my dad, he'll name will show up, and I'll be like, oh, Dad. Like,
I heard this thing where it's like your parents, like it was their first time doing it too. Like, you know what I mean? Like being a parent, like there was no book for them on how to do it
Hell
either.
Yeah. And they didn't have therapy. They weren't fucking, nobody was telling them what was right, what was wrong. It was just like, you just fucking make do.
And it was a different time too. Like where mental health and like meeting your like traumas and whatever head on is so like,
that wasn't
normalized now, I guess. But like back then, like you're a man, like you're not allowed to feel that way. Like nobody care, rub some dirt on it or whatever. Like as far as like your dad goes,
Yeah. It's just, it's a priority thing with him. And, possibly a narcissist thing, but he's a good man, and we love him. But it's you look back on who you were raised by, what you've been through, and it helps you understand like, okay, this is why I am this way. I'm a product of this. And you just have to use it to your advantage to make better decisions for who you, and I haven't done that so far, but we're going to try.
Yeah, but like who you want to be and like what kind of parent you want to be. Like that's the benefit of it, is you see how they were and you're like, okay, well, I know I don't want to do this, or I don't want to.
You're either going to take their path or you're going to not take their path. And my dad, I think, took his dad's path. It's all he knew. And I see a lot of me and my dad and me, which I think is why I also was like, no kids. Cause I'm like, I don't want to fuck my kid up. Yeah. Like I got fucked up. But then it's like, or you could just, choose to try and not to, and whatever. So if you have a relationship that might be a little teetery, just take it for what it is and be grateful for it, because some people don't even have a dad. Some people lost their dad. And like, if you have a parent and there's you sometimes have to be the parent. I've had to be the parent so many times, and like, I won't see my dad unless I go see him, and that's okay. Like you have to just fucking man up and make it better, because they're there. And
especially as an adult too, like if you need to take initiative and like keep those relationships alive, because sometimes they don't have the capacity to do so, Yeah,
and who gives a fuck? They're alive.
Yeah.
Make it better. Some things aren't forgivable, and sometimes it's better to draw a boundary. That's another thing. I've drawn a boundary, and it's like,
Right.
You only let, because I'll get so excited and I'll, when I do see him and it's like, it's so good or whatever. And then it's gone for a couple months.
And then you get let down again. You keep like hurting yourself by like not expecting that when you know it's what's going to happen anyways.
So you draw boundaries and you just got to figure it out and just be grateful. And that led us here to where we are. How do we get out of that?
No,
I don't want to be in it anymore.
No, I know. I feel bad. But no, I feel like that was good. That was really helpful. I was just thinking about, because you were kind of talking about high school and how, so I feel like we talked about this before, like how in high school it was just the two of us. Like we had a friend group, but like it was only us. Like we'd only talk to each other at any like party, or like we'd all be hanging out and it would just be us like whispering to each other in the corner.
And we would always show up places together. Gina didn't have her license. Her birthday's October. Mine's February.
Because I'm like really young for our grade.
She didn't have her license for like 6 months. So we would only drive around together. I had a 1994 Geo Tracker. And if you know what that car is, I commend you, because it's a fishbowl. So I have a G-Wagon now, which is so funny. But like the G-Wagon reminds me of the fishbowl. Because
it's like boxy.
It's so fucking boxy.
Big windows.
Giant windows. There was holes in the floor. There was like a cord hanging.
Remember we would get it. We would take it through a car wash, which I think is so funny because it was such a piece of shit. And like
we would wait for like the window to like break in by the wind things.
Yeah.
Such a piece of shit. There was no tread on the tires. We in the winter would go through a 4-way intersection. I'm not even being dramatic. Every single turn we took, we'd spin out. So we're in the middle of every intersection just spinning out, and I'd have to get us back.
I think it's so funny, and you're like, we're 16 and I'm just like trusting you with my life. Like
you still do, dude.
Yeah, I do.
We would go to grocery stores and hit grocery carts. I have a video on my phone. We stole a grocery cart, took it to a neighborhood.
No, we stole the grocery cart.
There's 2 separate stories.
No, it's the same store. It's the same cart. So we took... Yes.
We had it forever, didn't we?
No, we hid it. Can we tell the fucking story? So we took this, we worked for the school store, and the teacher was like, hey, will you guys go out and grab, like, we need to get like a bunch of like pops or whatever, like Coke and Sprite or whatever to fill the store.
They trusted us for some reason to leave the school unattended.
No clue why.
To go to the store. So
we load the car up with like all this shit, and then we have the cart there, and we look at each other and we both just like pop the cart in the car. But it's like one of the two, it's like the little cart, not like a big cart.
It was a little one?
It was the two like stacked little cart. But like we didn't even talk about it. We both just like
makes sense to steal this.
Yeah,
okay.
Loaded it in. And then we get back to the school and we fill the cart with like all the shit that we bought. And we're walking this shopping cart through the cafeteria like during a lunch period. So everyone's turning and looking at us and we're just walking with it. We get into the hallway and you hear, ladies. And
Bonnie, it was Bonnie, the security guard.
It was one of the security guard. And she like came up to us and she's like, where did you guys get that? And we're like, oh, it was ours. And it says like Meyer on it, which is like the grocery store. And she's like, no, you didn't. I'm like, yeah, no, like we had it at like you, I think it was like your dad had it at his house or something. Yeah. And she like walked us to the teacher and he like was really disappointed in us. And blah,
you stole this, you took it from another property and brought it on our property. It's stolen property, whatever. It's a whole thing.
So then he made us take it back, but we didn't take it back. We took it to a nearby neighborhood, chucked it in the woods for some reason. And then like a week later, like trudged through the woods, got the cart back out.
We had Courtney with us. We were taking videos, and then we had Courtney did she put a mask on?
Huh?
No, did I make that up?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Courtney, remember when we had a little handheld basket too, and Courtney ran at us. I'm driving and she chucks it at the car and it breaks my windshield. You don't remember that?
No, I don't.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me?
No.
There's literally a video, and she runs out of the
Pine
woods
Creek?
in Pine Creek. The curve.
Yeah. That's where we hit the cart.
Yes,
though.
and she runs out of the woods and chucks the basket at us, and it cracks my whole windshield. And then there's another video of the cart just being in the road, and we drive and just blast through
blasting
it.
Into this cart in this piece of shit car, like in the middle of winter for no fucking reason.
I can't believe you don't remember Courtney. It's the fucking funniest video ever. My windshield.
It's so stupid.
We didn't think my windshield just was obliterated. That car was like given to me to hit trees and shit. Like ride it till it dies, and that's what.
Yeah, it was already like on its way out, so we just finish the job pretty much.
Yeah, and now I do the same thing with the fucking G-Wagon. You know, I'd be fucking denting it and shit. My windshield's all busted to fuck.
We were late to our flight like a week ago, really. It was like a month ago.
It was months ago.
And we forgot our birth control and our toothbrushes at home. And we were already like...
my retainer, my Invisalign.
We were like 20 minutes late. Like we were already going to be late for this flight. So we had to whip around. She smashes into somebody's mailbox, like with the G-Wagon. And we just like blast away. And like a week later...
I wasn't even really sure what it was, to be honest with you.
It was a mailbox. A week later, or 2 weeks later, we take money out of the ATM, put it in an envelope, and wrote, "It was me. Sorry
about your mailbox. It was me."
And put it in their mailbox. So, and you know, hopefully they got a new one with it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't know and I didn't mean to. And I got a big dent in the back of my car out of it. So, big skidder.
Yeah, so we didn't really win in that one.
No. Yeah. Moral of the story is we've been fucking idiots from day one.
Yeah.
We're still riding that wave.
Also, in high school, back to like us just like being a clique of like our own. When we worked at the school store, like you'd stand out front of it and like, I don't even know, we just dick off the whole time. Like during lunch, there was a bunch of people walking past and we would play this game. Well, it wasn't even a game. It was like, I was like whispering in Brianna's ear. And
she was like the little devil on my shoulder and I would do anything she told me to do.
And I would make her like flat tire people in the hallway.
She would pick a target. We would trail them. We would walk behind them for long enough, and then I would step on the back of their shoe. It would come off a little bit. They'd look back, and we would look down like we didn't do it.
And
like
then
we didn't know.
We would watch them like,
and I would do it over and over and over again.
We'd watch them try and like get it back on, or like limp with like their shoe half off.
Someone's shoe came fully off. They had to like pull
It's so like mean. I don't know.
Mean. I'm sorry.
But it's such a stupid thing. Like it's so funny. But like even to this day, like we always have referred to ourselves as Pinky and the Brain, if you guys know that show. With like the mice, and like she's the tall like goofy one and I'm like the evil like one with the big brain. But that's how it always is. She's the muscle and I'm, you know, the brains behind the operations, kind of.
Yeah, which leads us to our fighting stage.
Which was more present than this.
Yeah, me being the muscle. I don't know. If anyone's fucking with her, like, I'm just going to beat the shit out of you. I don't really have... My Aunt Cindy, God love her, God rest her soul.
Yes.
She was a powerhouse. My mom, like, tells us stories. She used to just beat the fuck out of anybody, girls, boys, like, anyone who would come near my mom.
That's sick.
Or anyone, she would literally have them on the ground beating them in the face. Like, she was an animal. So I feel like I have to like live, you know, out her legacy.
Yes.
So men or anybody who like try and harass her in the bar, or us, or any like,
I think they were trying to talk to me and I was just like,
no, they were fucking with you. She was blackout drunk. It's the end of the night. We're leaving. We're trying to get out of the bar. Blackout, like you're just visibly not there, and they're fucking with you. And then she's not responding, so they come over to me and they go, "Oh yeah, your friend and her fake eyelashes." And I go, "What did you say?" And I take the guy by the throat. And I'm like, "Don't you fucking," and I throw him, and then his friend comes at me too, and I fucking grab him by the throat.
Yeah.
And I'm like walking with them in my throat, like gripping the fuck, and nobody's stopping me, so I'm gonna keep going. And then he's like, "Oh, get up," you know, whatever, don't fucking come near my friend.
And also, around the same time, we pregame at the Four Seasons in Nashville, like before we go anywhere. That's like, they have our tequila. We like the bartenders.
They know us. They love us.
We're regulars there. And we were at the bar. We were taking our shots before we were going to go to like Barstool, or, you know, one of the 3 places we always go to, like fucking idiots. And we're sitting there and we can see this guy and we know that he lives there because there's like penthouses in the Four Seasons
He
here.
had approached us before and been like, "Hey, you know,
you guys want to come upstairs?" Like some old freak fuck, I don't know. And we said no, and then he sees us again, and we can tell that he's like lurking around behind us, like trying to figure out a way to approach. Brianna pretends to be on the phone.
This doesn't work.
It doesn't work. He comes over anyways, and he like keeps trying to talk to us, and there's a guy next to us who's like trying to deflect the conversation onto him. So he's like trying to help us, and it's not working. And the guy touches Brianna's shoulder.
No, I get the bill because we cued the bartender and said, "Hey, if this guy comes over, just give us the bill. Like we're just gonna like fucking call it a day." So he brings the bill, and then the guy like puts his hand on me to grab it, and
You turn to him and you go, "If you touch me."
No. That was the second time. The first time I just like hid his hand away, and I was like, no, I fucking got it. I pay the bill.
And he touched your side.
And then he touched my side again, and I turn and I go, if you fucking touch me again,
I will rip your throat out of your neck.
I said, if you touch me again, I'm gonna rip your fucking throat out of your neck.
And he went, and you just backed away.
And he ran away. And he never came back.
Yeah, and it worked.
So
the muscle. She's the muscle.
Point being, we were fucking dying though, dude. The guy was like, are you
funny?
Are you okay? And I was like, no.
You should be afraid.
Yeah, you should be afraid. You got to be aggressive. I don't give a fuck. Like, if you touch me, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, don't touch strangers.
Don't fucking touch me.
Unless they're inviting you to do it. Don't fucking touch strangers.
Yeah. A stranger touching me is crazy.
I hate that.
You don't. You
especially
don't.
Like he touched your side. Like here is such like a sensitive area. Like anywhere below like tit length.
Not going to work.
Yeah.
Not going to work for me. What's next? Is that it?
No, we were gonna tell the story about how we gang beat that guy on Broadway down that alley. Let's do the gang beating story and then we'll wrap it.
Okay, really quick. I don't know what this episode is. It's just funny, man. We had boyfriends at the time. One of them was the psycho that used to throw stuff at Gina, and then mine was the
one who'd whip his hair out and bang
on the floor. Yeah. So we're in Nashville. And after a long night, we are outside in between all the bars.
And you were sober and you were driving at this time.
I was sober and I was
the driver. So you came
to
pick us all up.
I was with you.
No, we left and came back and got them or something. We got the car. We came back and got the car.
Whatever. We're there with the car, picking them up. They come out of the bar. This guy is like fucking with one of them. I don't know who. Long story short, I think ends up spitting. Or no, yours ended up spitting on the guy, I think. Because the guy was like really fucking harassing us. This is a different
story. That was a fart story in Royal Oak, and that's a really funny story. No, it's not. Brianna.
No, it's not. I thought he also spit in Nashville.
No.
Or the guy spit on him. Someone spit.
Oh, well.
I don't fucking know. Long story short, they end up, that guy is down in the alley getting beat. Gina's stomping on him.
I had like these giant, thick heel boots on, just stomping this guy's sternum.
He was in front of the car, like trying to like get us to not go or something.
Yeah.
We ended up having to, but the funny thing is, so like gang beating, and then I'm like, fuck, I gotta get everyone out of here. And
there was a whole crowd, everybody on Broadway was watching us beat the shit out of this guy.
Circled around us. So I'm playing like Carnival, and I get one person in the car, someone jumps out. It was literally a movie.
Like popping out, like all three of us.
I would shove my boyfriend in the car, her boyfriend would pop out. I'd get her in the car, like, and then, no, I'm not done yet. Like, I gotta get a last one in. And then whatever. We finally end up leaving. Point is, if you try and we're gonna end up fighting you.
We're gonna fucking kill you.
We're not afraid of a fight.
Yeah.
Let us just say
we're not afraid to fight men.
No. And if you want to hit back, do it, bitch.
Yeah, you won't.
I'm trying to get these knuckles dirty.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Give me a reason. Give me one fucking reason.
Yeah. Hit me here. Actually, hit my nose. That's how we could get nose jobs.
That's not a bad idea.
Let's try and provoke it.
And also, if it's a man that does it, we could sue him, get the money, he'd pay for the whole thing.
It's so fucked up. You can't give the secrets away. They're not going to do it now.
Scratch that.
Oh, God, man. All right. Is that seriously all we had on our thing?
Yeah, that was all we had. That was like 45 minutes.
Cool. I think we were going to maybe try and think of something else, and then we were just fucking brain dead, you know?
Yeah, no, that was plenty.
We're in between trips right now. We got a lot traveling going on.
We leave again tomorrow. The spitting story that I was talking about, okay, really quickly, we were in Royal Oak at that bar, and that guy, we kept saying, we were like, dude, did you fart? Like, we do this thing where
we make up.
We like...
We like this guy the other day, we're like, do you have a soul patch over FaceTime? Like, show us your soul patch. Doesn't have one. Whatever. We convinced this guy that he farted.
We kept picking on him and be like, dude, did you fart? And he's like, no, I didn't fucking fart, bro. And then he like started like poking at my boyfriend at the time. So my boyfriend, the pussy ass, spit on him. So
That's
then
bitch move.
Yeah, it is. So then the other guy who got spat on by my boyfriend bashed a bottle over his head. And again, I was wearing these big fucking thick boot heels, and I reared up and kicked him in the chest in the middle of the bar. Like, and he fell backwards, and then he got kicked out.
In the chest is...
I don't even know how. How did I get my leg up that high? But like to rear up and do that is absolutely insane.
I used to donkey kick backwards in the knees.
Huh?
I did it to Garrett one time. I'll say his name. Oh. I don't know.
Were you pissed or just like for fun?
I don't remember. Anyways, join us next week.
Sorry about this.
We have another really, really cool guest.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be impressed too, dude. We're gonna keep impressing you guys, and you're gonna have no fucking clue.
Yeah,
and just be us out of the blue.
Yep. Come back. Thanks for watching. Sorry if this was a waste of your time. I don't think it was.
No, it wasn't. There was a lot of good pointers in there.
Yeah, a lot of
starting to see stars.
A lot of thick bits. We gotta eat something today, dude.
Can you hear my stomach because it is growling so fucking loud? All right, fuck it.
We love you guys. Thanks for watching. I keep spitting everything.
I was sick of it. That's shocking because I have no spit in my mouth. It's so dry.
I'm so wet. I'm sorry. Get me out of here.